Hi guys, Jared here with Day Traders FX. Hopefully you guys are having a great Monday. I guess it is Monday. A nice come out of the weekend. Holidays are over. It's time to get back to work. We're officially past all the time off, and everyone should be kind of back in and back at the market. So welcome back. Good to see you guys. Okay, so I just want to talk about three currency pairs today. It's the Euro dollar, pound dollar, Aussie dollar. I think that's where a lot of the interest is. And I think I may throw in just a little bonus pair that I have been kind of keeping an eye on because I think we have a good setup there. So really, I guess four pairs to be honest. Okay, let's get right to it. U.S. markets, not great overall today. Oil held its own, gold held its own. As far as Dow, S&P, NAS, all that stuff's down, just having a heck of a time. News today, we haven't had too much U.S. news. We have the Australian trade balance coming out in just about 1 hour. This week's going to be an interesting week for news. You can see that we don't really have much U.S. news all week. We have a little bit of unemployment claims on Thursday. And then Friday we have trade balance, which is a big one, but not too much before that. But we do have a lot of other important news like interest rates out of the different central banks, UK and European Union, to name a few. So that should get things moving. We'll have a little look at that and see how that all goes. Let's dig right into this euro dollar here. We talked a little bit about the euro dollar in the live session that we had today with the for the UK Open, and the euro dollar gave us a nice little run here. We talked about this low, which is 129.95. Also happened to be a nice reversal candle, and it held like crazy. So we had a nice little, we saw a nice little run anyways up on that one. And the euro dollar really did end up pushing up higher, and it broke through our resistance level that we pointed out, which was 130.90. Also our Friday high. Remember, those Friday highs are always important. So we have 130.90 that we've broken through. This is now going to be support. So I'm going to be looking for this area to kind of hold. That's our daily pivot point and so on. We may retest this. You can see that we're about 30 pips off of 130.90. I'm looking for that to hold, and I'll probably pick up some long positions, some buys right down around here. Remember, we have a missed weekly, or excuse me, daily pivot right here, which is around 132.15. That's kind of a big target there. It's almost 100 pips away from current market price. We're going to have some resistance here. The 200-day moving average doesn't go down without a fight, so be prepared for that. But what we really saw happen here was this big trend line. Things bounced. We had that pin bar, and it bounced and held nicely and is pushing up higher. It looks like we're probably going to come up and retest the 132 kind of 50s area where the consolidation and congestion starts to get pretty heavy. So I'm looking for that to happen. Remember that on our weekly chart, we still did take a nice dive off of that 200-day moving average. But again, that's up at about 13300, give or take. So what I think the short-term opportunity looks interesting at being once again is probably around 130.90 to buy. 130.90 to buy, get long, and we're still trying to trade up to this missed daily pivot. So I think that's going to be a good opportunity. As always, make sure you've got some some decent looking candles when things get down there. On the 1 hour chart, I like to see things like a bullish engulfing pattern, maybe some sort of a pin bar, maybe a hammer, just something that can kind of turn the market off of this level and start getting it up there. If we look at some of these other charts and we see these larger time frames here, and I'm just looking at things like Bollinger Bands and RSI and so on, everything seems to be holding, and it seems like we've got some good opportunity to head up. And looking at this 4 hour chart, we've got MACD and RSI that are looking decent on the bullish side of things. So that's where we're kind of looking to get that run up. But I think we do need to get some retracement down from this 200-day moving average, and that's going to happen. Hopefully we'll be able to get that entry around 130.90, maybe 13100 to trade up into 131.50 and ultimately into about 13200, which would be the ultimate target. So that's kind of what I'm looking for on the euro dollar. Pound dollar has turned out to be a nice little runner as well. Pound dollar had a very similar setup where we had this, there we go, we have this daily trend line right here that the market's tested several times, and it's made a nice little run. We turned once again just shy of that. The low here was just about 160. The euro dollar, the low was just about 130. So good round levels for these things to be turning. Pound dollar has bounced off that very nicely and started to head up. Now remember, what I'm looking for on this weekly chart here is we have a big reversal candle on the weekly chart. So I want to see some retracement into like 162, 162, even 25, 30, 40, 50-ish area to start seeing if we can trade against these highs. Now, I think these highs are definitely under threat to get broken, but with this kind of a reversal candle, we may just be running up to crash off of those levels once again. So this is going to be a tricky play, but for right now, we don't need to worry so much about that. We still have a very nice potential run up of probably 100 pips, and I think we should get a nice little run for that. But we've got to trade against these lows now, which are about 160, and you can see that we're a good little bit off that. So what we're looking for, just like on that euro dollar, I want to see a little bit of retracement, and I want to buy off this support right here, which is around 160.80. 160.80. We've got some, still the lows are a little ways back there, 55, 60 pips, but about 160.80 is where I'm going to be looking to pick up some buys and see if we can run up and test this weekly pivot once again and 200-day moving average. And again, missed daily pivots. We have a missed daily pivot here on the pound dollar, 161.50. We have a missed daily pivot here, which is 162.85-ish. So, some big long targets on that. And I think we're going to find some good opportunities to trade into those missed pivots. So that's what I'm looking for on the pound dollar. Not trying to rush through this too much, but I think we have a couple of pairs we need to look at. I want to look at the Euro Aussie. I may not even have this on my chart, so I'm going to have to add that real quick, but I'll show it to you in just a moment. Aussie dollar, basically what I'm looking for on the Aussie dollar, this trend line has still been in play right here. Daily setup, we're coming into that trend line, which will be right around 105.60, depending on when we get there. It could be around 105.60. We're at about 105.10, so we got about 50 pips higher to go. And we have a lot of reversal candles here. This, some shooting stars, these failed to hold these upper positions, so there's a lot of, pressure around 105.25-ish area, and we saw a big crash off that, so we're looking to see if that holds. If it does, then I'm looking basically at this weekly resistance one here to start shorting, which once again is right around 105, 50, 60 to kind of short off that. Again, I think on the weekly chart we're going to get a big bounce on that trend line and hopefully get a nice little run down. So that's what I'm looking for there. Now quickly, what did I say? The euro, I think I said the euro Aussie. The euro Aussie has a very a pretty good setup, actually, a pretty fantastic setup, where we have this kind of a run on, if we look at the weekly chart, or excuse me, the daily chart, we have been coming along this trend line for some time now. And this daily trend line right here has turned out to be a pretty effective one. The market has bounced off it, big run and a bounce off. Plus we have an open area right there that needs to be filled. And we have a nice reversal candle right here that has bounced off that trend line. Anytime we get a daily pin bar, those are always worth paying attention to, especially as they happen against trend line, support and resistance levels and so on. The low on this one is 124. Let's say 124.05, right around there. Current market price 124.85. So we need to get some retracement here on this Euro Aussie, and I think we're going to see it. So I just want to get a little bit closer down to this 12400 area, and like I said, we're at about 120. We're in the 124.80, so we need to get 50 or so pips lower so that we can get a reasonable stop. And then I want to buy it against this low, which once again is this daily pin bar, this daily ascending trend line, lots of support right there, and I think we may be able to continue up into those highs. Now we do have a bit of a double top here, but that's going to be way up there. That's a long ways to go. We've got 300 plus pips before we get to something like that, and I think we've got a good chance of reaching that upper area, especially with the setup that we have on this daily chart. So that's where I think a lot of interest and a lot of potential play will be. So let's be ready for that. Let's keep our eyes on that. I think we're going to have good opportunities there. But euro dollar, pound dollar, Aussie dollar, euro Aussie. All good pairs, all good setups. And I'm going to have more. Remember, we're having live updates every day in the chat now as well, which is going to be at 4 p.m. Pacific, which is around midnight UK. But we'll have a live session in there every day to just kind of cover things and place any pending orders that might need to be placed. So best of luck, guys. We'll see you in the chat, and follow me on Twitter at DayTradersFX. Thanks, everyone.